camera somewhere.
So that's still rolling? That's a really good battery in that camera.
Oh, we got party lights. Yeah!
Well, wonder what's broken now.
That's right, we are back in the shed. And for all of you who are wondering, we are trying our best to observe social distancing. Until this point, we have all been working on our own in isolation, working at home, or we've been furloughed. So the whole team has had basically no interaction with anybody. And inside the shed, we've got some stations with hand sanitizer and hand wash, and we're trying to keep away from each other. And if we've used tools, we wash them afterwards, just to try and comply. First things first, we promised you when all of this started, when we returned to the shed, we would do a What Will Start special. And here it is. What will still start in the shed after 4 months of not being touched. And I'll be honest, I have cheated. Before this all started, part of the grand plan of putting the new switches in is every single vehicle that did work in here is now on a battery charger, which therefore means everything should start. So first up is this. It's Artie, my Lemons Morris Minor. Now, this normally starts pretty happily once you've got the choke right, and it idles pretty happily, but it doesn't run. As soon as you put your foot down on the throttle, it just gums up and dies. But let's see what happens. There we go. Well, that started. So, mission done. Number 1, that started. Vehicle number 2, the 106, which was actually cleaned when I put it in here, and it's now filthy. But the good news is everything appears to be on in the dash, so here we go. Oh, 2 for 2! Oh, she sounds so happy! Right. Vehicle number 3, the Turbo MR2, which notoriously has had a problem starting. So I'm not overly confident with this one. But a light has come on as we get into it. Have a look at which one of these many keys it is. I think it's that one. It is not that one, or maybe it is. Oh, it is. We have lights, we have a fan, and 3 for 3! Right. And it even turned off. Vehicle number 4, which is moving on to my other MR2, which was cleaned before it went in here. We need to do something about this roof. This one has a notorious problem with the door not shutting properly and draining the battery, but that shouldn't be a problem anymore because, you know, battery charger. So, squeeze in. And that sounds terrible. I mean, it works, but it sounds terrible. Brilliant. So far success. We've got the working NX, the Moggy, the 106, 2 MR2s. So in here, this is vehicle 5 in here, I think. And we're moving on to the big stuff. So Viking, will this wake up from its slumber? Oh God. Oh wow, that steering is really bad. Let's see. This is brilliant. Everything is starting.
Now, I know this is going to start. This is not an issue at all. It's literally bulletproof. It's a Toyota. It is not going to fail.
To be fair, how many times have we tried this and it's fired up?
Every single time. I've literally left this for 4 months before, and it's been fine. It's just turned on. It's probably not 4 months, but some time.
It was in your garage for ages, wasn't it?
It was in my garage for a good 3 months, and it fired up without any.
Yeah, because we both come up to it and we're like, There's no chance that's going to start at it first turn.
It's good.
And so finally, the big thing, the thing that wasn't working. Well, to be fair, because we've tried everything else, we'll also try Jupiter and give her a try and see what happens. Key in. So Jupiter starts. Now, you may be thinking this is a bit of an exciting moment, and it is. However, some of you may have noticed it's also moved its position from when you saw it last. And that's because on this one, I particularly cheated. Me and Ash, before we did everything else, we came in here and we put the fuel line back on. I've pointed this out many times before, but currently I have managed to trick Ash into lying across Jupiter to get to the engine bay while he attempts to reconnect the fuel line. Now, this is a job that we started way back before lockdown. We started this job the weekend before lockdown started, and we were like, oh, we could get it back on next week. And now, finally,
3.5 months later,
we're actually putting it back on.
Yeah, there's just a hand working in there, and there's an Ash working
yeah,
in.
I'm here somewhere.
Yeah, found that the new way to work on Jupiter is to
Lay in the back.
At least we're starting to work out how you actually do stuff on this stupid thing. So that means that with the fuel line back on, she is running, and she is running quite happy, not dribbling anything. So that means that all of my vehicles in the shed, they're here, that did run, after this period, still run. And you might have noticed that where it is now, my landlord's tractor used to be, and that's currently not here. That's because me and Ash have been quite busy, and we've given that a service. So how good's the condition of this tractor? On a scale of 1 to mine, how bad are we?
Yours being 10, and we've got 0 as the best. This is about a 6 or 7.
Cool. So not as bad as mine, but this is what...
come out of the lift pump.
Now, for those who don't know, the lift pump's what sends the diesely stuff from there, which is the filter.
There.
There it is.
To there, and then round to the injector pump.
And so having stuff in there, so how much of that do you reckon has actually gone through into the injector pump to royally muck it up for the future?
Hopefully none, because it goes through the lift pump first, then the filter, and then the injector.
Do you reckon the lift pump's like knackered now?
No, the lift pump's working fine.
It's amazing. And we reckon this is the first service it's had in like 20 something years?
Yeah.
It was built in 1984, we think, so it's entirely...
The filters will show it, because
Oh yeah.
I haven't made these filters for years.
There you go, Massey Ferguson with... Where's the air filters gone? Oh yeah. So these ones, these should be...
These should be clear. And not very heavy.
Yeah, when we had the two of them side by side, we found that they weigh notably more. So that's good. Yeah. And then how many litres of oil are we about to stick into it?
60.
Going in there. Oh, and the brakes don't work. And why don't the brakes work?
Because there's no fluid in them.
Ash's just emptied out the engine oil that came out of the engine into a funnel. Is there a filter in that down there? There's not a filter, and it's blocked. This was lumpy as it came out. I want you to go. And look, no filter.
It's gone.
That oil was bad.
Yeah, we're now going to do the back end oil.
Well, at least that comes up clear, whereas this comes up like...
That's black.
Oh, is that hydraulic?
Yeah. That stinks.
That's right, I've been sent to go get bits. These are the headlights that go on the front, because he doesn't trust me to do anything else.
And so that now runs rather well. So thinking of tractors, what about the things that are stored inside the tent? Well, on that kind of front, I got a little overexcited and forgot to film starting the 35. And Humpty, well, Humpty always starts.
Right. Oh, God. Everything works!
So, on that, it's brilliant. This is the most starting vehicles that we have ever shown you on any episode of What's Broken Now. And you know what? I am absolutely over the moon. So, with everything kind of back and working, on with the show and let's get fixing things. Having started all my vehicles from hibernation, I decided that the only logical thing to do was to start taking them apart. I started upon the 35, because for a very long time, in fact, as long as I've owned the machine, I've wanted to strip it down and begin a repaint and a rebuild and make it pretty and good for shows.
And so this is the radiator that's normally sat on front of the tractor there, and it's no longer there because the water pump has given up, so we're trying to get that off. So I've just pulled this pipe off here, and that's what greets me inside the it's disgusting. So I can't get this off in order to get the rattle gun on this, but luckily I have recently acquired ouch, a set of Imperial spanners. Ow. And the bottom one, that's loose. That's off. Oh, and that's off. Yep, that's definitely full of rubbish. So I can't put the box back in because they won't come off. But this water pump is leaking, and I would say knackered.
And this has taken me this entire month to get off the months and years and decades of grime, abuse, and just general lack of love. This thing has now been pressure washed, sprayed down with geyser 3 separate times and pressure washed again. And then I've lost count of how many days underneath it when I should have been doing other things with a screwdriver, just poking away at the muck in it. So, you know, maybe at some point in the future I'll actually get some paint on it. But I wasn't content with just disassembling one vehicle. Oh no, I set my sights on another one of my working vehicles, my lovely little 106. You see, a long time ago, somebody opened the passenger side door, and when it wouldn't shut, decided the most logical thing to do was to force it. And ever since then, the door strap's been broken. So today I'm going to investigate why. Which involves removing the door.
That there, that shouldn't wiggle around like that, so that's why the door strap don't work.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Door hinge. Now means like that. Ow! My ankle! Bah! Did not mean to put it down on my ankles. Oh God. One door.
That, and you can see around here, he's actually punched a hole in the door. I'm going to have to get Martin to weld that up and we'll remake a hole. In fact, a piece of metal is still attached around the nut. There you go. Look at that. That is the bit of metal there, still attached around there. So we can probably just tack that back in and carry on.
Right, which one of you thought this was funny? Which one?
What?
That. Which one of you?
Well, me. You're gonna blame me.
I am blaming you, but he has a look on his face.
I'm pretty sure we all know who it is.
I thought, do you not want a Renault Clio?
No. No,
That's not a Renault Clio.
Lawrie, do you require an implement?
You're just running to a dead end. I don't know why you're going that way.
Trev, power!
And I found that when whoever shut the door, and they've actually broken the door strap, so that now needs to be re-welded. Of course, this wasn't the most vital thing to do on the 106, not to have a look at the gearbox, the drive shaft, or the heater matrix. No, door. So I thought maybe I would try and make something slightly better. So I set my sights on the Moggy, because we've got only hopefully a few months before we want to do lemons. So I thought it was about time to start looking at that and getting it to run properly. In the past, whenever I've revved the machine, it just dies. It can run smoothly at no revs, any power, it just...
The first thing to do is to take the carb off. So we do that by taking this air filter off. Is that going to come off? Yes. Spinning with the fingers as a pro. Now, I'll quite happily half your bets, guys. Is taking this off going to make any difference to the way the car runs? And, more importantly, will it ever run again?
And, you know, once I'd taken it apart cleaner, it was full of absolute garbage. And I reassembled it, and by playing about with it, we got the thing fired up and running again. And it sounded brilliant. No problems with the engine, just an extremely mucked up carb.
What are you doing?
Hold the manifold.
Lawrie, that was a working vehicle.
Was, yes, entirely. Was is a past tense word and not a present tense word. And this was the manifold. Now, somewhere in this, it's got quite the exhaust leak. The good news is that I have got a new one of these coming, which is the slightly bigger one, and also a bigger carb, which is the SU-HS4, which will mean my Moggy will have more power. So that's part one of doing this. Part two of doing this, aside from getting more power so I won't be horrendously left behind on lemons, was to access this space here to be able to get a bit more room to access the oh my dear god, it's really knackered area.
To balance out the positive news of getting something to run properly, Ash had another look at Viking the Digger. And it's not good news on that, as he gleefully told me.
So, Ash, do you want to tell everyone?
Well, considering you're all moaning about it being on a breeze block, we now have 12-ton axle stands on each side. So that's 24 tons them axle stands will hold. So it's not going to move now.
Although,
in the process of doing this, we've come across another problem.
That sounds broken.
I'll tell you why it sounds broken, Matt.
It's because it is.
Because it's broken. So just point to where on the digger you're going to have to remove to fix this.
There. That way. So you've got a line of bolts there.
Yep. Which?
That's where it's got to be split. So everything this way of them bolts has to come off.
So there's obviously a pin that runs through there.
Yes.
Do we think it's the pin that's gone knackered, or?
Most probably the bushing.
Okay.
And let's hope it's not worn the pin out.
That's fine. It's only a pin. We can weld that up.
Yeah, maybe.
So, in lockdown, I have done many things. I bought new vehicles, one of which you know about by now, and I bought this, which is a pallet of spare parts for Viking. So, a big thank you to Ollie for finding a scrap version of Viking that was being broken to spares and alerting it to me, because in here we should have things. Now, what I think's in here, I'm not sure about anymore, because I'm pretty sure the window on that, I thought what I'd asked for, unless this is just, I don't know, this is exciting. It's like Christmas, only better. Oh, yes, we do have bits. Presenting. Oh dear. Presenting the electric box off the Massey Ferguson 40.
Lawrie, That's as rotten as the rest of the digger.
Oh yeah, but it is a starting point. At least we know what it's meant to be like now. These are really hard to get hold of.
Yeah.
That's knackered. Also, I asked for that. I asked for the switch cover because it's razor sharp. I asked for the switch cover and they've gone by ripping the whole thing out. That's fine. What else do we have? This is the cat heater. I paid money for this. In fact, what else do we have? And this is what we wanted. This is the missing side window glass to go in the side, and underneath there is the front window to replace the front window where it's got a crack in it. So quite useful. Got a load of bits that we needed for Viking. What I'm going to do with them now, no idea. So we'll just put a pellet somewhere. Cool, that was sharp. As for my other vehicle, Sir William McAlpine, my Ruston 48, well, I assume it's still at the Mid-Suffolk Light Railway. The railway is still closed to volunteers, and so I can't get up there to do anything to it. You guys know as much as I do about that one. So moving on to everybody else's vehicles. Matt, for as long as I have known him, has wanted to work upon the suspension of his MR2, and finally, with us being allowed back in the shed, he brought the car up and we put it onto the ramp.
So, as long as I've owned my MR2, the suspension on it has been totally you-know-whatted. I've replaced it with coilovers now, so it's mildly improved in some areas. However, the bushings are still 30-year-old Toyota goodness. So I've been buying some things. I've got a new set of Super Pro bushings here. We have new ball joints to go on it all around, and the rear toe arms are actually completely rusted solid, which has caused one of the tyres to wear significantly more than the other. So we have a new set of rear toe arms. As well as that, a steering rack gaiter, and just generally a refresh of everything rubber which sits underneath the car, because it sorely needs it. So I've just got the rear toe arms off, and as you can see here, it is absolutely destroyed. So yeah, get rid of that. We got nice new ones to go on. So hopefully these are going to be a damn sight better. They're made of chrome moly, so they won't rust quite as bad. I have given them a coat of absolutely terrible paint, but it's just to stop the surface on them and
So can you actually adjust those?
Yeah, we can adjust those, but
I don't think you can.
you used to be able to adjust them.
You can't. You definitely can't, looking at the state of them.
Should be nice and good. So, as you can see, we've got a lovely new toe arm on here now. Other one's still putting a bit of a fight, and the exhaust's in the way. This has taken me about 5 or 6 hours to do. Now you might be wondering why, as it's literally 2 bolts. There's not even anything to do with this, and well, someone removed a bushing he wasn't supposed to, and he removed it violently. You're looking a bit hot and bothered there, Lawrie.
This is stupid.
I got it off halfway.
How? I'm like twice as strong as you. This is...
We can't even get the impact on it because the thread's too long.
God, Jesus.
The way the car moves is... Lawrie, you right there?
It's not a cold day to start off with, and this is just terrible. 3 threads left. The last time I counted it was 5, so...
Progress. This is Lawrie's fault.
I did nothing.
Yeah, you did nothing.
I think nothing is precisely the problem.
Right. I'm on side 2 and it's not moving either. This cutter. Where are you? Yes. Oh wait, this is my car, not Laurie's. Moving very slowly. Like half a mil a hit, if that.
Right, how far are we in?
So, after about a week of my car being on the ramp, I've finally got all the parts together. And we've finally got all the old parts apart.
There we go.
through disc cutter and gas axe, we finally managed to liberate the old lower control arms. I mean, these aren't actually the lower control arms from this car. They're here, all still in one piece, because they're not moving anymore. So what we need to do now is get our new bushings pressed in, which is going to be interesting as we don't actually have a press. So it's going to be some very creative G-clamp action, but it's much easier to tend to get them in as opposed to getting them out. So hopefully we'll be okay to get it back together. So after judicious use of fire, I finally managed to get the old bushings out, and I've pressed some new ones in. In fact, this went relatively painless. I'm so relatively painless, and I'm so desperate to get it in that I didn't film any of it because I'm a very smart boy. So these are going to go back in the car, and hopefully, for the first time in that car's life, it's going to have good suspension again. Well, apart from on the front, because I've decided I'm not doing that now. Maybe in another few weeks. Just got the new ball joints on, as you can see. I nearly threw a hissy fit when I thought I had the wrong ball joints, and I'm not going to tell you how long me and Morgan sat there saying these don't fit, until we realised we should maybe take the protective covers off first. These got chucked quite far away. But these are now all new, so all new rubber everything. Well, polyurethane. Let's go fit them. Well, it's halfway in on this side. I'm hoping once the ball joint's actually bolted on, it might, line up the rest of them a bit more, but apart from that, a hammer seems to be doing wonders for this.
I'm not sure if I'm seeing this right, but have you actually finally got this back together again?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Wow.
Nothing's tall. I need to get the ramp up, but it's mostly together.
Wow. I'll get the NX back.
Well, I might just scrap it, to be honest.
You love it. Don't be mean to it.
Big moment for you, Matt. Back into your... How is this going to feel? Bit in your own car.
Very excited to have a half suspension complete car.
But no, but he's on wheels, Matt. He's been a spaceship for time.
And now you're not going to be able to hear me, hopefully.
Oh, because it's going to be the
if I take it out of gear.
Yeah, that'd probably be good. That'd probably be good.
Come on.
Will it? Oh, no, it didn't, did it?
No, it doesn't start.
It's dead.
No! After all the taking the mick, it actually doesn't start. Oh, for love of many things.
Oh, I know why it doesn't start.
Why?
Because I have the door open a giant, it's got lights on the door. Honest.
I said it wasn't going to start.
You said it was, and I was like, I joined in with the general whatever, and then I was like, that's Toyota, of course it will start.
Yeah, it start.
Jump it.
We release the captive MR2 back into the wild. Morgan has carried on at home, making good progress on his Fiat, which is actually starting to look like a car again and less like a sieve. There is a slither of a hope that it may indeed make lemons.
It's a bit stuck, Morgan.
Stupid Fiat.
I think there's supposed to be a head on that bolt.
Yeah, I broke that off. Speaking of lemons, Trev arrived with his new lemons car, the Kia Pride, which is an adorable little car. And there has never been a car which sums up Trev so much. And I got to see it with my own eyes for the first time.
Come on, Lawrie, keep your eyes closed. That's it. Yeah, come on. Laurie's first step. Come on, Lawrie. Yeah. I think close enough, mate. Okay, you can open your eyes. Ta-da! Do you like my new car, Lawrie?
You've got a Pride. Oh, it's so amazingly bad.
Oh, then I'll just take it away.
I
then.
love it so much. Oh, I'm so happy that you've got one. They get really rare as well. There's hardly any of these left.
Yeah, there's not many of the 5 doors, that's for certain.
Oh wow, the interior of this looks amazing. It actually looks, it's in amazingly good nick. My sister says it smells like an old man. To be honest, there are not a lot of old men in my life, but that's how I imagine old men. The aerial goes up.
Stop fondling
The
my
aerial
car.
goes down. The aerial goes up. The aerial goes down. Okay, so what powers this mighty beast?
A massive
It's not, is it?
1.3.
It's not even... That's a lot more substantial than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting something like Morris size.
Do you like this? The thing is I took it to the garage and they didn't even mention it. I was waiting for that on the call. Well, you do realise your battery's held in with parcel tape.
Not even taped it.
I know.
That is the best bodge I've ever seen. Actually,
There's a lot of space actually.
there's no rock in there though. This is actually...
No.
This is not bad. This is so much better than your Citroen. So, why? What's the story?
The Citroen kind of sucks.
Yep. I think when you showed us all, when it turned up when we shot the Lemons 2020 prelude, when we introduced our 3 new cars, the rest of us reacted in a way that was, what have you done?
Well, it's got some things to fix because I felt really left out. All of you guys have got like a lot to fix, and I wanted at least something to fix. So this is about manageable for my lady ass.
It's actually pretty good. It looks... How many miles has it done? Like, are we talking...
70 something.
It's not bad.
It's got a mechanical dial, so you can check in the inside. But ta-da! It's very square.
The bumper is disproportionately larger than the... I mean, what you have got, and I've just realised this, if you pop this, that is a tiny boot. What you have got here is a nice place to sit and contemplate the world. You want to park this up overlooking a sea view and sit here as the sea air rocks your car.
I was going to say I'm not taking this to the seaside. I'm going to keep a good 10-mile distance from any coast. Yeah, it's not the biggest boot.
I've just seen the cutest, smallest parcel shelf ever. It's so small that it's like...
And thin.
Are they speakers in the back?
Yeah, the speakers, the audio's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. It's something just that needs to be looked at. But
I am genuinely impressed with this. This is like a cool little car.
yeah.
Is it staying? Are you holding this or is it a lemon spec?
The idea is I want to get it to not concourse spec, but really good spec, so that at the time that I sell it on, hopefully to someone else who, because amazingly, there are people that appreciate these old cars. I have proof.
1, 2, 3. We are the 3.
There are many of us.
3.
And so when I come to sell it on, because I want it to just carry on, I want it to be a good working example that can be driven. So the idea is to try and stop any rot. Now,
That's actually, to be honest, how much did you pay? That's the big question.
400.
Okay. You know what? I think you've done really well. That is, without doubt, the best condition Lemons vehicle anyone has bought this time around.
Yes. Well, I'm still going to win.
You bought a car, sold a car, and bought another car.
So guys, that's how we are. We have been quite busy having got back in the shed because we have really, really missed it. And it has been so nice to see all the team again. As I've said in many other videos, we have become such good friends over the course of the last year and a half that being away from these guys that I see on a weekly basis has been the strangest thing for us all. But it's so good to be back, even if most of my stuff is now broken. But that's what's broken now, so I guess you guys come to expect it now. But thank you very much for watching, guys. If you've enjoyed this video, please help the channel out by giving us a like, share this video with some of your friends, help us grow, leave a comment, tell me, give me some support for the death of my Moggy, and let us know about what you think of everything else in the shed. And of course, if you haven't already, subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you've enjoyed this one, how about clicking over there somewhere for one of the last What's Broken Now, or down there for one of our Lemons adventure. See what we got up to last time. And with that, I guess I should try and fix something. Oh, but that works. Pretty happy that that works.